I have not done one of these videos in a while. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some highlights of the last 90 days to see what has sold on eBay. And I'm going to start at stuff 20 bucks and above. And, you know, the stuff that's below is probably some of the same stuff that I've gone through before that I'm still selling through from that ephemera sale, the health and beauty sale, you know, lower dollar stuff, bread and butter, pays the bills, right? But we're going to start today at stuff that sold for $20 or above. And we're not going to talk about this doll because she did not sell for $20. The first thing we're going to talk about is some action figure shoes, not doll shoes. But I know you guys have heard me say before that I like to sell doll shoes. And this is actually from a Pulsar action figure. And I paid $15 for him. I sold his shoes separately. Those sold for $20. And then he's not in the greatest of condition. So I think I might actually just use him for another project that I'm doing. But I sold the shoes still at a profit. So there you go. This little pamphlet here, it's from Max Factor. And that sold for $15. So I guess it's below 20. Some of the stuff is taken offers. That's okay. But I bought this for $1 recently at a flea market. And then I had this little wreath. This is one of the things that I got. If you watched my video where I talked about I got a bunch of stuff for free, this is one of the things I got for free. I'm not a jewelry person. I don't know that much about jewelry, but I picked this one up and it sold for 20 bucks. So if you haven't heard me say it before, I went to an ephemera sale almost 2 years ago now and bought hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of items. It was fill-a-bag, so most of the ephemera stuff I got from that sale was, I'm saying about 10, I'm paid about 10 cents each. It's probably even less than that, probably closer to 5, but this was from that sale. There's some 1910s frog paper dolls, and those sold for $20, just one little sheet. This is a Seawees Shimmer Mermaid doll, baby flutter. I always pick up Seawees stuff. It was popular in the 80s, but it seems like they didn't really make a lot of it, so it always seems to do pretty well for me. She sold for $18. And then this is just, I like to pick up travel brochures. I love ephemera. I picked this up for $1. Key Biscayne Hotel, just a little tourist brochure, sold for 20 bucks. This is a Smurfette's House, little Smurf that sold for $18.50. I love to sell menus. Menus are one of my favorite things to sell. And this is a menu from actually a Portland restaurant called Farrell's, and that sold for $20. This is a lot of Cupid doll greeting cards. Again, from that ephemera sale, so about 10 cents each into them I had, and that sold for $18. I got some Topps WWE trading cards. I bought one of those big trading card flat boxes full of wrestling trading cards, and I just haven't gotten into putting them together and everything yet to sell, except for a little bit. I've done a couple of lots. So this lot sold for $18. And again, from that ephemera sale, Dolly Dingle postcards. This lot sold for 20 bucks. This is I don't know why this is showing on here. Anyway, Hunchback of Notre Dame PVC figures sold for $15.75. And this is Ward's catalog. It's just some pages from a Ward's catalog, doll pages from the 50s. I believe there's 6 or 8 pages here, and that sold for $18. And that is just the pages torn out of the catalog. And when I sell catalog pages like this, I write on there, this is, 12 pages, meaning 6 pieces of paper, and then it's torn from a larger catalog. I always mention that because even though I say that, I have had people say I thought I was getting the whole catalog. But I do make sure and say how many pieces of paper there are, how many pages there are, because, pages aren't counted in pieces of paper, right? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So you know how to count. You've seen books. And I always want to make sure people know they're not getting this whole 1,200 page catalog. They're just getting 6 pages out of it, which a lot of times people are really just interested in the dolls or in the whatever, the guns or the lawnmowers or whatever it happens to be. I've sold lots and lots of catalog pages that are just a specific category. And then this is a tint stick. It actually looks like a lipstick. It's a really neat metal lipstick tube, but it actually is for your hair. So in the 1950s, there was a company called Tint Stick, and they had different colors of lipstick tube stuff that you would actually put in your hair. And they had gold, they had black and brown, but they also had green, blue, silver, pink. So ladies were putting colorful colors in their hair in the 1950s. That's awesome to hear. This is a Max Factor. This did not sell, but I bought a bunch of Max Factor items. That little pamphlet you saw, some makeup, some compacts, stuff like that, from a gal who used to work for Max Factor, and she traveled around to companies and she did little history presentations about the history of Max Factor before they tried to sell them some new product. And so she had a bunch of that stuff and she was selling it, and I bought all of it. So this one didn't sell, but it is for sale in my store right now. So if you're interested in Max Factor, you can go check it out. And the link, of course, to my store is down in the description. And if you don't want to buy anything from my store, that's okay. But if you go to eBay through my store link, then I will get a few cents of whatever else you bought on eBay during the next, I think it's the next 24 hours, if you go through my link. So if you're going to buy something on eBay, even if it's not from my store, if you go through and use that link, I do get a little kickback from it, which helps support my channel, which is awesome. One of you guys went and did all of your Christmas shopping through my link this last Christmas, and that was really nice. I mean, a lot of Christmas shopping, so that was awesome. So thank you for that if that was you. And if it wasn't you and you know you want to buy something from eBay, go through my link first and I get just a teeny little commission from it. All right, this is an Avon perfume called Ariane, and this sold for $20. I bought it at a sale for $4. I have talked about this before, but I do buy Avon perfumes and stuff. I know people say don't, and typically I don't buy any of the bottles that are shaped, like an owl or a butterfly or a car or a mailbox. Those ones don't really sell that well. But the same perfume in a regular bottle, they do sell. So, and they usually sell pretty quickly. Don't hold on to a whole lot of Avon for very long. This one, I think, sold in like a week. Here's some more of those WWE trading cards from 2010. This lot sold for $20. I paid $35 for that whole big flat box, and I have probably 1,000 cards left in there still, so I just need to get to them and list them. But and wrestling is one of my interests. I was a big pro wrestling fan in the 80s and the 90s, and so I'm kind of excited to go through and see all the cards and stuff. 2010s wasn't really my era, but But this lot and the other lot together covered the price for the flat, and so now anything else I sell from there is going to be profit. So that'll be great. This is a little lot of baby dresses. They can also be used for dolls, like some of the larger dolls. But I bought a whole bin of baby clothes at an estate sale, or a garage sale actually, last summer, and I sold one dress from it for $55, and then I've just been selling kind of little lots and stuff. And some of it went to Goodwill because it wasn't great, but I sold this lot for $20. And this is a little baby bottle that someone gave me, and that sold for $20. People collect vintage baby stuff, so bottles like this. There's certain baby blankets, like Baby Morgan blankets, but other baby blankets too. I sold a baby blanket probably about a year ago now to Stephen King's wife. That was kind of cool. It was a vintage baby blanket. Here's another Avon Occur perfume. This one I only paid 50 cents for this one, but it sold for $18.50. And then some more of those WWE trading cards. This lot sold for $20, so there was 3 lots. Forgot about that. This was just a cute stationery pad that I bought at an estate sale for $1, and it sold for $18, and it just says, "I'm barely fond to exercise." You remember those exercise bears in the 80s? I loved those. And then this is just one of the little tiny sprites that came with a Rainbow Bright doll in the 80s, and that sold for $18. I always pick those up when I see them, the little ones that came with the dolls. Not the Taco Bell ones necessarily, although if they're cheap, I'll still pick them up. I have a lot of nostalgia for those, you know. Here's some more catalog pages. This is from a Sears 1972 catalog, just 4 pages. That sold for $18. And a menu, Labor Temple Restaurant in Portland. That sold for $20. These are some shoes I bought for myself, so I didn't make any profit off these because I bought them for myself off of eBay, and they were way too big. So I turned around and sold them basically for what I got from them. So, but Airwalk shoes, older Airwalk shoes, they can do pretty good. These ones, not so much though. This is a Snoopy. It's a golf themed statue, and that sold for $20. And then this was from my personal collection, Strawberry Shortcake. It's a hat box, and it actually has Angel Cake's hat here, and all the little pieces and stuff you can glue onto it, so it's like a little DIY kit. And I actually bought that at a Kmart for $7.99 in 2003, and that sold for $20. This is a Citation by Menon Cologne, an aftershave set. I sold this for $18. I paid $2 for it at an estate sale, or $1.50 actually, I think. Men's cologne from the 60s and 70s could sell pretty well. It sold, it didn't sell for a lot, but it sold really fast, like within 3 or 4 days. And this is a little lot of wooden figures. They went on like lamps and different nursery decor. I don't know why the person had them off of the things. Maybe they didn't want to keep the lamp, but they wanted to keep the figures. And I picked them up at a sale, I believe for 50 cents for the whole box. And I just thought, somebody will want these. They're interesting. They'll be good for crafts. And those sold for $20. And this Gonzo the Great puppet, I just bought him at the spring version of the Northwest Largest Garage Sale. I paid $5 for him, and he sold in like 2 days for $20. This is a mason jar, Boyd's mason jar. I had little tins in my bedroom. It was like a decor in my bedroom filled in with this, but I decided to let it go, and I believe the tins are on here having been sold as well. So that sold for $18. This I got at the bins. It's a Toyota giveaway plush dog. It was new in its package, and it sold for $18. And then this is a little Ginny Vogue doll shoe set. Now, a lot of Ginny dolls don't necessarily even sell for $20, but I always pick up the shoes and clothing sets because those can go pretty well, and this sold for $20. This is a teeny tiny, these are like this big, they're really small, almost like the early Polly Pockets. Little Mickey Mouse set from 1996, and that sold for $23. And I believe I paid $3 for the set. I'm not every time telling you what I paid for things. I don't pay up for things. I'll tell you if I did. I don't pay up for things a lot though. Because, like all of us resellers, we want to get things as cheaply as possible. But you're not going to find something for the same price I'm going to find it for. So does it really matter that much? If I don't say how much it was probably $2 or less. This little Hello Kitty Jack in the Box here, I did pay $5 for this. It was vintage from 1983. Kind of surprised it didn't sell for as much, but it wasn't in the best condition. Sanrio stuff in general from the 70s and 80s can do really well. Certain things can go for hundreds of dollars. Not this Jack in the Box, but other things. This horse head was interesting. Somebody gave me this. It sold for $20. Just a ceramic horse head that hangs on the wall. This is a Barbie Children's Day Kinder Tags. It had Greek writing on it. That sold for $17.50. And then here's one of those Ginny dolls. She sold for $22. This is another Seawees doll. She sold for $23. I bought a lot of toys from someone on Facebook Marketplace, and she had Seawees 3 for $10. So I got her for $3.33. And then we have this Holly Hobby greeting card, again from that ephemera sale, so 5-10 cents, and it sold for $25. And these are some Tootie, which is a Barbie doll. She came out in 64. I'll have to look it up, but she came out in the early 60s, and she was only around for a couple of years. And these are her shoes, and they sold for $25. Love selling those doll shoes. I'd rather sell doll shoes for $25 than Nikes that I have to clean for $25. These are paper doll postcards by Charles Ventura, and again from the ephemera sale, they sold for $25. This is a little Tinkerbell cologne, like a little girl's perfume set, and that sold for $23.50. This is a Tammy dress that sold for $22, and a vintage Mark's Dollhouse Furniture lot. This is kind of a miscellaneous lot. Not everything was in the greatest condition. That sold for $24. Here's another menu that sold for $23.50. This is one of the menus. I bought a lot of menus from a high bid auction in Texas and had them ship them to me. Whenever you buy stuff from high bid, from auction houses, and have them ship them to you, you're going to pay way more in shipping, which I already knew when I bought the lot. But even with the $35 that they charged me to ship a bunch of menus in an envelope, I still paid about $4 per menu, and then this one sold for $23.50, and I've had a couple in there sold for over $100, so I was okay with that because I knew my price per item was still going to make sense and be profitable. This is a Goodyear tube tire rubber repair kit. This sold for $23, and this was one of the free things that I got at the Northwest Garage Sale last fall. This is a set of grandma and grandparents from the Fisher-Price Loving Family Dollhouse. Grandparent dolls, if you can find them, sell well. I have some Hart family grandparents right now, listed for $95. Of course, they haven't sold yet, but hopefully on the next video you'll see them and they'll have sold. This is a Space Nick wax-filled bottle display. It's just the lid from a candy box from the 60s, and it's a really rare candy. So when I saw it, I just thought it was interesting, and I picked it up for, I think, 50 cents. And it sold for $23.50. So interesting stuff. These knives are from a lot of silverware that I picked up in an estate sale. I paid $18 for the whole bag. I made 10 lots, and so this was one of the lots that sold for $22. This is a United Colors of Benetton sweater. It's a girl's size. I picked it up years back, and I've just had it in my death pile because I really don't like listing clothes, but it sold pretty quickly for $25. And a Little House on the Prairie book set that sold for $20. This cute little guy over here, he is a little Easter candy trinket, I guess, from, it's a lollipop holder actually, from the 50s or 60s. It's by a company called Rosen, and he sold for $25. It's just a little plastic thing. I bought a whole bag full of Easter decor and has sold all of it off now. He was the last one. This is a velvet doll. She's from Ideal. If you know the Chrissy dolls that have like the long ponytail that comes out and you can like wind it back up, she is Chrissy's cousin. And I bought this doll in her box for $5. She was in the best condition, but she sold for $25.50. And here's some more of Tootie's clothes. I bought a Tootie case that had a bunch of Tootie outfits in it for $40 recently, and this outfit sold for $25. And this is a vintage t-shirt that I picked up in an estate sale. I paid $2. It's a brand called Hobie, which I recognize as kind of a surfer brand from the 80s. And it sold for $25. And then and vintage t-shirts from the 80s and 90s they're pretty hot right now. I think they're kind of coming down a little bit, but they're pretty hot right now. So I always kind of look to see if I see any interesting, brands or anything like that when I'm at sales and whatnot. And this is a Magic Attic Club doll outfit. These are 18-inch dolls, kind of like American Girl. I had bought a lot of these about 2 years ago, and all of the outfits sold within a month, except for this one that took like 2 years to sell. And I don't know why. I'm not sure why. The rest of the outfits sold for like $40 to $60. This one sold for $25. I don't know why it took so long for this one outfit, but it did. Don't know. All right. This is a 5-piece miniature dollhouse kitchen set. I picked this up at the Spring Northwest Largest Garage Sale. I believe I paid $4, and it sold for $27. And then this little mouse, is it a mouse? Bunny rabbit. It's a bunny rabbit. It kind of looks like a mouse because its ears are kind of round. I'm not sure. Anyway, its name was Munchie, and I paid $1 for it at a garage sale, and it sold for $30. And this is a 16mm film called Bernice Bobs Her Hair. I've got tons of 16mm films in my garage. I've sold tons and hundreds of them over the years, but I don't have very many listed right now, so I need to go through and list some more. This one is $25. Summertime is the ideal time to sell 16mm films because people like to set up their projectors and watch them out in the backyard, which we like to do too. And then I have this Littlest Pet Shop Mini Surprise Families from 1996. It's kind of Polly Pocket style, and that sold for $28.70. I had a sale running. I have this fun mug here, Free Willy Keiko Foundation, from the Oregon Coast Aquarium. This is when, if you remember, back after the Free Willy movies came out, Keiko, the whale that was in them, he was in a small tank in Mexico City, and so they did like a penny drive of children all over America, and they collected enough money to buy Keiko from that aquarium in Mexico and build a large pool for him at the Oregon Coast Aquarium, and they brought him up here. I live in Oregon, if you didn't know. And then you could go see him at the aquarium. So I did get to see him one time. That was pretty awesome. But so this is a mug from that foundation. Picked it up at garage sale for $1, and it sold for $25. And there's some Wishbone action figures, the full set from Dairy Queen, and that sold for $27. And then we have an apricot rag doll from Strawberry Shortcake. This sold for $32. And a Fiesta Ware candle holder from my collection. That sold for $25. We've got some Max Factor face powder. That sold for $35. This is a catalog that I've had in a drawer for probably 10 years. I did do a video of it because there's some really neat stuff in this catalog. Betsy Clark and Holly Hobby, and it's the kids' furniture, you know. So this catalog sold right away for $35. I had it in my drawer, and I decided to look up to see what it would be worth, and I was like, $35? Okay, so I listed it, and it sold like that. This is a vintage Estee Lauder signature powder blush. When I sell vintage makeup that's new, not used, it's new, but also vintage, I do write in the description, this is vintage, it's meant for collecting, it is not meant for use. You know, old makeup, I would not use it. It's probably from the 90s. Toy Story Burger King 1996 toy set. So, you know, a lot of people say don't buy fast food toys, which for the most part is correct. But if you have the full set in the bags, and you have like, this was a pamphlet, I guess, that came with them. Sometimes you have, you know, if you have a full set and you have like the box or bag that it came in and kind of have like a whole package there, sometimes they can do okay. And this set sold for $35. I did pay up for this. I paid $10 for it, but I knew that it was worth about that much, mostly because I've sold this whole complete set before. This was a popcorn bucket from Scream. I bought a couple of these. Sometimes Cinemark and AMC, they come out with these popcorn buckets for pop culture movies that people get excited about, and they sell out really quick, so sometimes you can do well. I bought 2. The other one I sold for $75. It sold right away, but this one they actually sent it to me, and it took like 6 months for me to get it. So by that time it was you know, people had kind of already lost interest, so it took a while to sell, and it sold for $38.50. But I paid $20 for each of these, so I still, you know, made some money. But if you see those at your theater, ones that are hot, like I got a couple from the Saw movie, and those sold really fast. I got a few from Ghostbusters. They were like a Slimer. If you've watched some of my other videos, you probably saw them. I bought them for $25 and sold them for $55 really quick. So you're not, you know, you're just kind of just doubling your money minus fees and all that kind of stuff. So you're not making a ton, but also is a quick flip, right? This is a Sandy Lion sticker sheet, Maxi Activity sheet from 1983. This sold for $35. And this is a John Deere tractor brass belt buckle that sold for $40. A Nintendo Game Boy that I've had in a box for literally 15 years probably. I finally pulled it out. I knew that it didn't work. Sold it for parts only for 35 bucks in like a day. Sometimes I'm like, $35 has just been sitting over there unused all this time. What's the deal? This little composition doll I picked up at a sale. I believe I paid $2 or $3 for her, and she sold for $40. At the same flea market where I got the Max Factor stuff, I also picked up a Maxfield Parrish artist book, and tucked into that book there were 4 prints of his that were cut off the top of calendars from the 1920s. And so I put them on auction because they weren't in the best condition, but I wasn't sure how much they were going to sell for. If these are in better condition, they can go upwards of $100, but mine were in pretty poor condition. So this one, Contentment, sold for $40, and this one, Reveries, sold for $40. I got this Smurf camera, and it sold for $40. I paid $10 for this from that gal that I bought all those toys from on Facebook Marketplace. This Pinocchio puppet show, it was such a neat toy, but also in really poor condition. The box was taped in several places. There were pieces missing. But I paid $1 for this, and I sold it for $36. And this is an IKEA silverware set for kids. So real, regular silverware, but they're about this tall. It's more for like play, for your dolls and whatnot. And that sold for $35. I paid 50 cents for it. Northern Electric rotary telephone. This is a Bakelite telephone. It was in kind of an odd shape. If you notice, it's kind of really wide. I bought this at Northwest Largest Garage Sale last fall for $2, and it sold for $40. Here's another one of the Max Factor items that I bought. I paid $1 for this. It sold for $45 right away. And then here's some of those Maxfield Parishes they did not sell. But like I showed, Reveries, I tried to auction them. None of them sold on auction, so I just put a similar price as Buy It Now. And I think I have one left of the 4 that I got. This is a bottle of Dippity Doo. People love their vintage health and beauty items. People use these for props. People use them to decorate their bathroom. If you have a 50s style bathroom and you want to put a cute pink Dippity Doo bottle up, this sold for $40, and I paid 50 cents for it at an estate sale on the last day, like the last 5 minutes of the sale. This is a Vera Bradley purse. It's like a sling purse. It's not one of the regular quilted ones, but it was brand new with tags. I picked it up at Goodwill for 15 bucks, and it sold for $45. And this little Only Hearts Club chick, I picked this up at an estate sale, this and another couple of Only Hearts Club things, and they're this big. In that box, it's this tiny thing. I paid probably $1 for it and sold for $48. This is a pair of Adidas shoes that I bought for myself, but they didn't fit right. So I pretty much broke even on them because I paid less than that, but after fees and whatnot, I pretty much broke even. And another Maxfield Parish. This one's called Golden Hours. I sold that one for $45. This is a Kenner Toys Stretch Octopus. It doesn't show, but I actually did take an offer on this one. It sold for $42. And then another Max Factor item from that sale. I believe I paid $6 for this. It's a 1930s eyelash and eyebrow mask. So it's basically a mascara, but it came in a box. And you actually use this little brush and use the brush to pull out the black mascara and put it on. And that sold for $55 and really quickly. This Tammy doll, Ideal Tammy doll. This is an Ideal Tammy doll. I made a video a while back that I bought a case for $60. I bought the case, the doll, and a whole bunch of clothes and accessories. And I've been kind of slowly selling through it. I kind of parted everything out. And this doll sold for $55.25. These two Mary Kate and Ashley dolls I picked up at a doll show I went to recently, and I paid $15 each for them. One sold for $50, the other sold for $55. And then here's that Slimer popcorn bucket I was telling you about. He sold for $55. And then there's another one right there that also sold for $55. And another Mary Kate doll that sold for $55. This little guy here is from the Sweet Secrets. It's a 80s toy line, and you know, it was short-lived, so they're harder to find, and it's sort of like a Transformers for girls.
Sweet Secrets eyeshadow, blush, gloss, and lipstick, all sold separately from Galoob.
This little parrot would transform out of it. This sold for $60. This is a vintage little Kittles doll. This sold for $50, I believe. I paid $15 for her at a doll show. And some more of these Sandy Lion sticker greeting cards. Again, I paid like 10 cents each for these. This one sold for $63.75, and this one sold for $65. They both sold to the same person a month apart. She has very graciously bought several of my vintage Sandy Lion, so she must have quite the collection going. And then here's another Max Factor item. This is a Lash-A-Dashery Max Factor 60s little makeup kit that actually even has eyelashes in it. That sold for $60. This is a postcard that I bought at that same sale that I bought the Max Factor stuff. I paid, I believe, $1 for this postcard, and it sold for $75. It's a real picture postcard of an late 1800s or really early 1900s Sandy, Oregon. And here are a set of some Disney's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea promotional photos. I sold for $75. I bought these at an estate sale for $1 each, and they sat in my death pile forever. And I finally listed them, and they sold in like a week. So that's another one of those things, you know, you kick yourself because it's been sitting in that pile. $75. This is a teddy bear that sold for $65. She's a mink bear, and this is an artist bear, so it's a handmade bear. I bought a lot of bears from an auction about a year ago, and I paid about $4 each for them, and sold this one. Some of them sold really quickly. The first one that I sold for $300, so that was exciting, and they have a pretty good resale value, but I still have maybe about half of them left. I probably need to bring the prices down a little bit. This Uncle Sam sold for $76.50. I paid $3 for him. He's actually a bank made from paper mache. And this Bambi cookie jar, I paid $15 for this. It sold for $78.30. I had a sale going, and it was just super cute. Little basket cookie jar with a handle. Love it. Here is a Mary Kate and Ashley doll. I sold this and a few other items, and I made a bundle together, and that's why it's at $86, because I didn't sell just this one doll, but this and a few other items. And here is another one of those items that I got from that bear sale. Paid again $4 for this and sold for $115. Bunny's by the Bay large plush cat. And again, this is a bundle that I made. I'll usually do this for people who live outside of the US. If they want to buy several things, they can't just buy a few things and then I combine the shipping and return the extra, because it's going to go through the eBay International system. So they're going to get charged all the fees and the taxes and everything for each item. So if someone sends me a message, I will put a few things together, put it into one listing. I usually put reserved when I post it, and that way people know it's not for them, you know. So this was actually for 3 of these Playmobil sets. I bought these sets for $10 each from the gal that I on Facebook Marketplace that I bought a bunch of toys from. And then I sold the 3 sets for $155. So that was nice. And this little gal over here, this is Isabella from the cartoon Phineas and Ferb. If you've ever watched that, it's a little plush. She's about 11 inches tall. She, her and almost most of the rest of the gang, I bought for $1 each at that spring Northwest Largest Garage Sale. And she sold for $175 in one day. I was pretty happy with that. I had no idea that she sold for that much. But that's one of the harder ones to find. And my top sale of this video. That's everything, guys. That's all the highlights. Everything around $20-ish and above. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure to leave a comment down below, like the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed, because why aren't you subscribed? Come on, it doesn't cost you anything. And you're not going to get bothered with a lot of notifications, because I haven't been making very many videos lately, unfortunately. But hopefully I'll be making some more coming up. I'm working on some house DIY projects, especially putting down new floors in my bedroom, but also living in there at the same time, or not having a space to bring everything out. So I'm doing new floors in my strawberry shortcake room right now. I got my bedroom side done, but the strawberry shortcake room, I had to do half the room. So move everything to one side, pull up the carpet, re-level the floor, paint. I put up new trims. I'm putting up some new shelves, and then everything has to get moved to the other side of the room. So now I can start the whole process on the other side of the room. So it's making it take a little bit longer because I don't have anywhere to put all that stuff. So I've been working on that and not as much working on videos, but I'm going to try to get back to more videos as soon as I can. And I hope you enjoyed this one, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Give me a little heart in the comments if you made it this far. Bye!